Hey everyone, welcome back to Six Sister Stuff. Today I'm sharing with you 10 of the best Instant Pot dinner recipes. So I'm Kristen, I am the second sister from Six Sister Stuff, and if you notice we share a lot of Instant Pot recipes, so today I decided to switch it up a little bit and I'm going to share with you our top 10 Instant Pot dinner recipes just to make your life a little bit easier. Before we get started, I'm curious what your favorite dinner recipe is to make an Instant Pot. So go ahead and put that down below in the comments. I would love to hear. But for now, we're just gonna jump in to my top 10.
All right, should we jump into this one?
Let's do this.
This is one of our favorites on our website, and
gosh.
we put it on the website not long ago, and it exploded.
Everyone
So,
loved it.
We're showing you just some simple ways to even make it easier than the recipe that's on the website.
Exactly.
So here's our shortcuts.
Let's do it.
What are we starting with?
All right, I'm gonna have you cut up the chicken.
Okay.
So we're gonna have like 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of chicken. And I like to use the tenderloins because it just makes them cook a little bit faster.
And they're nice because they're small, so they're easy to cut up. And lots of times they've already been, the fat's they're trimmed.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of times they're already trimmed, makes it really easy to cut it up.
Awesome.
I'm just cutting it into some kind of bite-sized pieces.
Oh, that's perfect, especially for kids. All right, so while she's cutting that, I'm gonna push the saute button right here. So when you push the saute button, right now it says, there's a little button that says less, normal, or more. We're just gonna keep it at normal because it's fine. All right, so saute, then it's going to beep for you. After you push the saute button, it's gonna start heating up. Once it gets hot, I kind of just test it a little bit. Once it's hot, then I add my oil and other things.
How long does it take to get hot?
Sometimes like 2 minutes, sometimes like 5. Lots
Just
of times,
depends.
even before it's hot, I'll just start cooking.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm in a hurry. It is what it is.
Right? This is real life.
Exactly. All right, so once it's heated up, we're just gonna add, about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We're just gonna drizzle that into the top of the pot. Now I like when my oil gets hot and then I do a trick and I lift my pot up and just kind of wiggle my oil around so it covers all the bottom of my Instant Pot.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Kristen's
I'm
full
fancy.
of Instant Pot tricks. That's why we call her the Instant Pot master.
There we go. Once the oil is heated up, ready to go, Camille is gonna add our chicken.
Yep.
You ready?
Kristen gets scared to touch raw chicken, so that's why I'm doing it.
I appreciate that.
If your oil's hot, it should sizzle at this point.
Yes.
Ours is still warming up, but that's okay.
You can hear it a little bit. Now, this makes a lot of rice and other things, so this is a lot of chicken. If you have a smaller family, you could even cut this recipe in half or even in fourths.
Totally.
I mean, you just make sure you cut all the ingredients down, but the timing will be the same. You cook over the same amount. All right, so once the chicken starts to cook on the bottom, you kind of just flip it around a little bit. I kind of stir as I go. Is that horrible?
No, that's what I do too, just to make sure that it all gets evenly cooked. I'm gonna throw the onion in there too.
Please do.
Just to add some more flavor. Let that cook in the oil.
Nice. I think that's one of my favorite smells is cooking chicken and onions together.
Well, let's make it even better and add some garlic.
All right, how much garlic are we gonna add?
I think just a teaspoon, or what, 2 cloves? Sorry, I'm just grabbing a spoon.
No, it's fine. Yeah, 2 cloves, that sounds good.
So we're just using jarred garlic. A half teaspoon of this equals a clove. This is one of my favorite shortcuts, so you don't have to chop fresh garlic.
I think all 6 of us
I know.
Use that shortcut
We
because
love it.
I don't like pressing my garlic.
Yep. Okay, so the seasonings we're gonna add, I'm just doing like a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. You can totally eyeball this. Don't feel like you need to measure it out. You can go Rachel Ray style, pour it in your hand and then dump it in.
We're not fancy like that.
Yep. If you want to add other seasonings that you like, you could. You could do some Italian seasoning. You could do a little bit more like garlic powder if you love the taste of garlic. I mean, however you like to season it.
You can add a little more.
Totally works.
We love like a little bit more salt, so I usually add about a tablespoon of salt into this recipe.
You do?
I do. I love salty things.
I didn't know that about you.
Yep.
Learn something new every day.
Yep.
All right, so once the chicken kind of has some browning around the edges, I mean, you can cook this as much or as little as you want. It just really is to seal in the flavor, kind of make the chicken have some added moisture, I would say.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of flavor too. It gives it some saute.
100%. So now, from this point, it's just kind of a dump and go.
Right?
So we're adding in 2 cups of rice. Now in the recipe, it says it a little bit differently, but we're showing you this is the simple way to make it dump and go.
It's like the dump and go version.
Totally.
All right.
So I'm doing 2 cups of white rice. If you want to, you can rinse the rice before you dump it in. Totally up to you.
Yep.
But I'm just gonna go ahead.
We don't judge you either way, if you rinse your rice or not.
Do your
There's
own
no
thing.
judging.
Okay, and then I'm gonna do about 2 cups of chicken broth.
Nice.
Just kind of pour that right in.
There we go. All right, so the secret when you're cooking rice in the Instant Pot is you want to make sure that the rice, every single kernel of rice touches the liquid, because if it doesn't, you're going to have some hard pieces of rice there. So that's what we're going to do.
Didn't know that.
Now you know.
Okay, I've got half a cup of water going in too.
Okay.
Just some added moisture for that rice. Now I've got a can of cream of chicken soup. If you want to, if you're feeling super domestic, you can make your own. But for simplicity, I just use a can of this. You can get, they make a healthier option.
Reduced fat.
Yeah, reduced fat, which works great. It's not coming out.
There we go.
Okay, so add that in there. And then the last thing we are gonna throw in is a bag of frozen vegetables, and they are still frozen.
They are.
So,
Which I think works better because you're gonna cook all the vegetables, rice, and chicken all at the same time.
Yep.
So I think frozen vegetables works better because then they'll cook.
yeah, they won't be super mushy.
They won't be soggy.
Yep. So
All right,
I'll
just
dump
dump
those
it in. Yep.
Give it a good mix.
Just gonna mix it around, make sure all the rice is covered by the liquid. And I think we're good to go.
Good to go.
So we have our lid now, we're all ready to go. Now remember, while we were putting this together, it's still on saute, which is okay. Guess I should put the lid on correctly, huh? Okay, so we're putting the lid on. We're gonna turn this little knob to sealing, not venting. Make sure I can see this here. Now, because it is on saute, first you have to push cancel. So you're gonna push the keep warm cancel button just to turn it all the way off. Then you're gonna push the manual button. Now, if you don't have a manual button, you'll have a pressure cook button. It's the same thing, manual, pressure cook, you're good. All right, so then we're gonna go up to 6 minutes. Now we can do 6 minutes because our chicken is little, it's already been sauteed. The rice only takes about 6 to 7-ish minutes to cook, and the vegetables only take about 2 minutes to cook, but they still taste good together.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of the same amount of time. That's why you can all cook it together.
Awesome.
All right, so you heard it little beep. Once it says on, you can just walk
away.
So it's all done cooking. We cooked it for about 6 minutes. You can go up to 7 if you want, but because it's done, we're gonna turn it over to a quick release. Here we go. Once all the pressure's out, then you can open the lid. Just beware of the steam because it gets toasty. All right, so if you can see this. Now it looks like there's a lot of liquid on top, but once you mix it around, there's some rice that still needs a little bit of liquid and it will all work out together.
It all evens out.
Exactly.
So while you're doing that, you want me to dump the cheese in?
Yes.
So you're gonna add, is it 1 cup?
Yeah, 1 cup of cheddar
1 cup of
cheese.
shredded cheddar cheese. You can shred your own if you want, or you can buy shredded. Doesn't really matter.
We always tend to buy the shredded because it just makes
It's
life
fast. Yep.
easy. But I did notice if you buy the block cheese and shred it yourself, it melts a little bit easier.
So much easier, especially in this recipe. But either way, you're gonna be just fine.
Exactly.
If you want more cheese, to make it more cheesy, feel free to add more.
That's what we did too. So after we did individual servings, we put a little more cheese on
each one.
Yep.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, that's what
Let the kids.
Let
This is super kid friendly. My kids loved this.
Mine too.
And like you said, it makes a ton. Like we ate it for lunches all week long.
Right? We're going on a 3rd meal of this. I made this just this week.
It's awesome.
I know. That's one of our favorites now. All right. Okay. What do you think? Looking good?
Looks good.
Okay, should we plate it up?
Yep. So at this point, you could feed it to your family. It is going to be super hot for a minute, but it's delicious. It's cheesy. It's comfort food. I don't think you could ask for anything more.
So today we're gonna make Instant Pot turkey breast. And growing up, we always had turkey for Thanksgiving, and it's such a huge undertaking that this is the perfect recipe to feed a smaller crowd.
Yes,
A couple of people, so you're not making this massive turkey that you're gonna have tons and tons of leftovers in your Instant Pot.
Exactly, and I love cooking in the Instant Pot because it makes it just nice and juicy and tender. You know, sometimes you cook it in the oven and it gets a little
Like
nasty.
Christmas Vacation
right?
when they're like sawing it open.
Exactly, so we're gonna show you how to make a nice, tender Instant Pot turkey breast. Let's get started. So you can do a few things with this. So you can saute your turkey breast, but we're not gonna do that today. So the only thing about the Instant Pot is that you don't get that nice brown crispness to your turkey. Does that make sense? So you can saute your turkey, but for us, we're just feeding our family, so I really don't care about the crispiness of the skin.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna put it right in the
My
Instant
kids are
Pot.
weird about stuff looking burned, so if it's seared on the outside, they're like, why is it black? Why is it burned? So we're just going the juicy route.
Perfect, let's do it.
Okay, so we're gonna make a seasoning mixture to go on our turkey breast, and I'm starting with a tablespoon of olive oil.
Now we do the olive oil so it will make the spices stick to the turkey.
Okay, and then Kristen
Oh my
introduced
gosh.
me to these.
I love these things. They're the magnetic ones. If you haven't seen them, I'll link them down below for you guys.
And then we're just doing a tablespoon of smoked paprika.
Now if you don't have smoked paprika, you can just use the normal paprika.
And then we've got, sorry, Butterfingers here, 2 teaspoons of ground black pepper, and then a teaspoon of salt.
And if you don't want all these spices, you can kind of make your own turkey.
Yeah, you could
What am I-
substitute. If you're worried about the paprika, you could always switch that out for thyme or something savory.
Perfect.
Teaspoon of Italian seasoning.
Nice. I always like to add a little bit more of Italian seasoning.
Okay, should I open
Yeah,
this
open.
big? We're going for it today.
Oh, you have to dump it. Oh, there you go.
Let's do 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning.
Yeah.
And then a teaspoon of minced garlic.
Now, if you don't have the minced garlic, I like to use that kind because you can just keep it in your refrigerator and you always have garlic on hand, so you don't have to use the press every time, you know?
Yes.
All right, so we're just mixing this up. Oh, it smells so good.
Smells like Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready? So, how I did this before, I will be the one touching the turkey. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay, so now this turkey breast comes with strings attached. Now you can keep it like that and just do the seasoning around that, but I like to season all the pieces of the turkey breast. So we cut it open and we're just gonna season on both sides. Just lightly rub around all the turkey. Go for it.
Really getting in there. My first year of marriage, I thought I was gonna impress my husband and make a full-size turkey. He got one through his work.
Oh no.
And it fell on the ground, it slipped out of my hands, and like all the stuff, like gizzards or whatever you deal with.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm never doing this again. And I ended up crying, and we went and got a hamburger. So
Happy Thanksgiving.
this is our kind of turkey. No bones,
Right.
nothing.
None of the lovely stuff.
Right?
the
And it's
heart
not gonna
and the
cook
gizzards.
for like hours and hours and hours.
No, so actually how the turkey cooks is we usually say about 6 to 8 minutes per pound. So this is 3 pounds. So I like to go more on the longer side. So we're gonna do 24 minutes just with this. So we're actually gonna just stick it right into the bottom of the Instant Pot.
So if you were searing the outside of this, would you sear it before you did the...
So you would add a
Spices.
little bit more oil on the bottom and sear it with the spices.
Okay.
But because we're not, we're just gonna go this. Okay, so once we have the turkey in the bottom, and you always wanna make sure when you're cooking meat in the Instant Pot, the meat goes on the bottom because
Okay.
it will cook better that way. So we're gonna just add about a half a cup to a cup. I like to add a cup just in case we just want it to pressurize
She's
all the
pouring
way.
it really carefully, so the seasoning's
I want
not
my
rubbing
seasoning
off.
to still stay on my turkey. But the good thing is with the Instant Pot, because it pressurizes, all the water and seasonings will kind of all mix together while it's cooking. So it will still taste good. All right, I think we're ready. So we're gonna put the lid on. Flip this around a little bit. Now this is the Instant Pot Luxe. So the knob's a little bit different. So we're gonna turn this little knob to C-Link. And then it says it has a manual button. So the manual button and the pressure cook button are the same thing. So you wanna push your manual button, then you're gonna push your plus button. So we're going up to about 24, 25 minutes, and we're gonna let it sit there. So you're gonna wait just a few seconds, and then, so after a few seconds, it's gonna beep and say on. That means you're doing it right. So now you just get to walk away while your turkey cooks. Okay, so we have been letting this release on its own for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to turn the little knob to venting to get out the rest of the pressure. Oh, we're good. Love when that happens. Okay, then we're gonna just pull it right up. Oh my word. Can you guys see this?
Oh yeah.
It looks so good. It
smells
smells
good.
so good. Okay, so the secret in making turkey breast is that once it's done cooking, you're gonna put it on a plate, then you're gonna let it rest for about 10-15 minutes with some foil over top. So that's what we're gonna do. Pull this out very gently. Oh, can you guys see that?
Oh yeah.
There we go. Oh good, you got some foil.
I feel bad saying this, but I've never been a turkey person. Like Thanksgiving turkey.
This might change your mind.
I know, but this has got me convinced like it's
With the
falling apart.
seasoning?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so go ahead and put the foil on. We're gonna let it sit there for like 10-15 minutes or so. Perfect. Okay, all right, I think we're ready.
Okay.
Oh man, that looks so good. Okay, so usually we'll have this all nice and plattered and cut pretty, but I just want to show you the inside of it here, of just how juicy and good it is. So if you're cooking this for Thanksgiving dinner, don't forget your mashed potatoes and other Thanksgiving recipes. I'll have a link down below in the description for you for other delicious Thanksgiving recipes here on YouTube. Okay, so we're first going to cook sausage and onions and mushrooms all together in the Instant Pot. So we're gonna first push the saute button and kind of let that heat up for a little bit before we throw everything in.
So I'm gonna start mixing the cheeses. This is a big tub of ricotta cheese.
Yes.
Going full send with all of that. And then I'm gonna add in about 16 ounces of cottage cheese.
Nice.
You can go full fat, you can do low fat, just, I mean, whatever you want. Ricotta comes in whole milk or skim milk. If you want it super creamy, go whole. If you want to lighten it up a little bit, go skim. They both taste good.
I know.
I like both of them.
They do.
Oh, and then I'm gonna also add 2 eggs to this.
Okay. All right, so this is all heated up, ready to go. So I put in my sausage first. I don't have to add oil because of, you know, the sausage is not gonna stick. So I have my lovely chop stir. Favorite thing ever. I'm just gonna cook my meat.
A lot of times too, to this cheese mixture, I'll add in like some garlic powder or Italian seasoning, just to kind of give this cheesy layer a little boost of flavor, but it's fine without it too.
Nice. Okay, so you're mixing all the cheeses. I'm mixing the sausage. Would you pass me the onions?
So we chopped an onion.
Stick that in there. So whole onion.
Yep.
Nice.
And then there's a mushroom.
Okay, cheese
like
is
it's
done.
good?
Yeah.
Yep.
This is pretty good. I'm gonna just add my mushrooms for just like a minute or so. Ooh, mixed in there.
Whoops.
It's flying. Now, if you don't like mushrooms, you don't have to add mushrooms to this, but I love mushrooms.
I do too.
Yeah. Okay. Looking good and smelling good.
Okay.
We ready? Let's layer it up.
So layer it up. So, okay, so we're gonna start in the pot with some sauce on the bottom.
Nice.
I'm just gonna dump a little bit in there, spread it around. Yep. Just getting it all the way to the edges. You can use any kind of sauce that you have, whatever your favorite is. Okay, and then we gotta use some noodles, right? And they have to be oven ready.
They have to be oven ready for this recipe. You're right.
Yep. Okay, so this is a circle pot, obviously.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to make it fit. Just kind of break your noodles so that they fit, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's not gonna be pretty, but no one will see that, you know, oh, there's a little bit of a noodle missing there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Just as long as you get
and these little
most
pieces
of it covered.
are perfect because they just cover the parts that need to be covered.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. All right.
We have noodles down.
Noodles down.
Cheese next.
Okay. So how many layers are we gonna be doing?
So we're gonna do as many layers as we can. We'll see what we can fit.
We'll see how many
we're
we
gonna
get
fill
in
it
there.
as full as we can.
Yep.
That's for sure.
I love cheese, so I'm going heavy on it.
And it's a little bit different, like 9x13, you have a very flat lasagna. This is going to be a tall lasagna.
I love it.
Which is perfect.
Okay, so we got cheese all the way to the edges.
good. Add some meat now. Meat, onion, and mushrooms. Oh man, even pulling it up, I still am all over the place. All right, what do you think of that? We're okay?
Yep, looks good.
Okay.
You could do a little bit more even if you want.
Okay.
There, now we're talking.
I like the meat.
I like it meaty.
Me too.
Okay, cheese, do we do like mozzarella and Parmesan?
Yeah, let's throw that on.
Okay. Because let's be honest, lasagna has to be cheesy. Oops,
Everyone
threw
likes
that back.
cheese.
Right, okay, so we just did some mozzarella and Parmesan, and then we start again.
Okay.
So, go with the sauce. And it's not gonna be pretty as you're spreading it around, but that's okay.
No
Well,
lasagna is,
Yeah,
really.
it all comes together.
Exactly.
So try and get it to the edges.
Got that.
And we'll go
All right,
with
I'm
the
gonna grab one of
noodles.
those, and I'll grab one too.
Yep.
Chop it up.
You do the big one in the middle.
Okay. Oh, I messed
I'll
up.
hit the sides.
If only you could just come to my house all the time and we can cook
Right,
together. We
this
could
is
just
way faster.
cruise through.
No, lasagnas to me are really labor intensive, but I love that you can cook it all
in the
in there,
same
like
pot.
saute it, and then you can layer it in this other pot.
Yep.
It's genius.
I think this is the hardest part for me is putting the cheese on after you put the noodles on.
Right, because it just, those noodles move.
Yes.
I know, but
Okay.
it's not bad. Okay,
Ready? Ready
yep,
for the meat.
go more meat, and then I'll add more cheese.
Awesome.
Can you go all the way to the top? Like,
Yes, this one you can.
Uh-huh. Some, I'm sure it kind of overflows.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what you have. Just because the
Okay.
noodles are not going to expand that much.
Okay.
That everything will kind of cook and then shrink a little bit. So we're
Yeah.
gonna go
Oh, that's true. I
all
didn't
the way,
think about
all
that.
the way to the top here.
Okay. Cool. All right, more cheese.
cheese.
And then we'll go again.
I think just one more layer here, right?
Yeah, I think just one more. Make sure we get plenty of sauce. Maybe a little bit more. It's a hefty little lasagna.
Yes, it is. It
Like,
is.
like you said,
solid.
it's gonna be really tall.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't have to. Your normal size of lasagna is like a normal square, but this one you want smaller because there's
Yeah.
so many layers that you're gonna go digging into. So
Totally.
that'll be fun.
Okay, so we're just gonna finish out all the sauce.
So I'm gonna pull that up a little.
So it doesn't get covered.
Yeah. You can rest it on top when it's
Right.
done.
And then we're gonna finish off with just a hefty layer of cheese.
Nice.
Because a cheesy lasagna
I like it.
is where it's at.
Exactly. Okay, so while you're putting cheese, I'm gonna rinse this out real quick.
Okay.
So then we're gonna cook it right inside of this pot that's already dirty. So you don't have to clean it,
Right.
clean it, we're just rinsing it out. We need to put something on it so it can keep as much water out as we possibly can. So we're gonna do it really tight with some foil.
Cool.
Now the handle is still in there, but that's okay.
'Kay.
When it's done, we'll pull the foil off and then pull the handle out.
Okay, cool.
Because getting in is a lot easier than getting it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so then on the bottom of the pot, we're just gonna add like a cup of water just so it can pressurize. We're just gonna stick our pot right down inside.
So you don't even need the trivet or anything. Just put it right in the water.
Whoopa.
And it fits pretty tight in there.
Yes.
But like still enough room you can slide it around.
Yeah, it can slide around, definitely.
Cool.
And you can have all the water will come up on the sides and still cook it, so. All right,
So crazy.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So close the lid. Make sure that your little knob is turned to sealing, not venting.
I've done that. It's fine.
Yep. We all have. We all have. All right. Then we're gonna push the manual or the pressure cook button, whatever Instant Pot you have, and we're gonna go up to, what'd you say?
24.
24.
24 minutes.
24. Okay. Then once you set the pot, you're gonna wait just a few seconds for it to say on. There we go. And then that means you did it right. So
Awesome. Walk away.
All right, guys, we'll see you in a little bit. All right, it's done. So it's when it's done cooking, you'll see that little L, and then it will start counting up. So we're at 2 minutes. Now, lots of people are really funny about, quick release or natural release. We're just gonna do quick release because That's
all we have time
that's
for today.
what I do. Exactly. Here we go. Okay, all steam's out. Good to go. Let's open it up.
Open it up. Let's see what this looks like.
I know. You see the foil first. Okay, so I like to take a glove and we'll just pull the foil off. I gotta use my finger a little bit to just pull it.
Nice.
Now, you gotta realize it is cooked with water, so it's not the same texture as your oven. But with this pot and pot, you can stick it right inside your oven and broil it for a few minutes to brown up that cheese. Okay, you gotta get the little handle out. There we go. We're just gonna pull it right out.
Cool.
Oh, it is heavy. Oh my goodness. Now, this is covered with some food, so we're gonna put it like you can put it on a cookie sheet or a pan or something like that, but just so you don't want the bottom of your oven all gross.
Yeah.
So. All right, you wanna stick that in?
So we're just going in the broiler just to kind of brown up the top.
Yep.
Will you open it for me?
Yeah.
All right, so here it is, completely done. Still a little bit liquidy. I would let it set up for at least a few minutes before you serve it. But yeah.
And we're making macaroni and cheese, a creamy macaroni and cheese. So we're gonna start with 1 pound of elbow macaroni. Then we're gonna do 4 cups of chicken broth. Now I love to get these containers because I know that there are 4 cups in here and I don't have to measure anything. So we're gonna pour it all in. Okay, now the secret when making pasta is that you wanna make sure, yes, I am using my finger, you wanna make sure that all the noodles are covered in liquid. If you don't have enough liquid, then you need to add more liquid to it. You just wanna make sure all the noodles are covered or you're gonna have some hard noodles with your pasta. All right, this is all that we have to do. We're gonna put the lid on now. Okay, we're putting the lid on. Can you hear that? That means you're doing it right. Then you're gonna turn this little knob to sealing. Now, the other Instant Pots have a different looking knob. They both have sealing and venting, so make sure that it's on sealing. Okay, once it's on sealing, then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna push the manual button or the pressure cook button, and we're gonna go down to just 4 minutes. Pasta only takes 4 minutes to cook. So once you push the buttons, then you're gonna wait for it to say on. Once it says on, you're good to go. Now, the difference between making, like, let's say macaroni and cheese in the Instant Pot compared to on your stove top is that you literally can set your timer to 4 minutes and walk away. Now you think of all the steps you have to do when you do it on the stovetop. You have to heat your water, you have to make sure it doesn't boil over, then you have to put your noodles in, you have to wait about 7 minutes for your noodles to cook, and you are just at the stovetop the whole entire time. With the Instant Pot, I can go clean up the kitchen, I can go put away the laundry, I can do a lot of other things while it's cooking. So this is why I love the Instant Pot so much. All right, we're gonna let this cook, and then I'll come back and I'll finish making the rest of macaroni and cheese. So once it's all done cooking, you're gonna have it say L. L means that it is done. You'll usually hear a little sound that it is done, it beeps at you, and then it's gonna start counting up. So you'll know how many minutes it's been done. So usually with pasta and other things, I like to do something called a quick release. A quick release is when you turn it to venting right when it's done cooking. Now, if you see some instructions that say natural release, that means you're just gonna leave it just as it is and let it release the pressure on its own, natural release. But with pasta, and because I wanna make this really quick, we're gonna turn it to quick release, which is turning it to venting so all the steam will come out. Okay, so once that's all done, there's a little pin that will drop. That means that you can open your lid safely. Oh, and if you can see, the pasta is cooked perfectly. Now there is a little bit liquid at the bottom, and that is just fine because we're gonna use that liquid for the macaroni and cheese. So just kind of mix your noodles around a little bit. They might be a little bit stuck together, but that's not hard. Once you start mixing, they'll come apart. Okay. So now we're gonna push the saute button. The saute button is the other button that I use all the time. So you can brown your onions or you can brown your meat, stuff like that. But we're gonna use the saute button today to make everything warm. So first we're gonna push the cancel And then we're gonna push the saute button. There you go. Okay, now it's time to add the good stuff with the mac and cheese. So we're first gonna add a 1/2 cup of milk. And I'm just gonna eyeball this a little bit. And then about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. You don't have to add the Dijon, I just like, it just gives it a little bit of a kick. And then just a dash of hot sauce. You can use your favorite hot sauce, whatever hot sauce you like. Or if you don't like hot sauce, you don't even have to add the hot sauce. I just like the extra flavor that it gives it. And then last we're gonna add just 2 tablespoons of butter. So I'm just gonna mix these things in there right now. So we're gonna let the butter melt and mix in the mustard and everything else. It's starting to smell good. All right, so once the butter is all melted, now we're just gonna add 2 cups of cheddar cheese. I like to use sharp cheddar cheese, but you can use any kind of cheddar cheese that you want. Now, if you shred your own cheddar cheese, that will make it mix a little bit easier, but I'm kind of lazy and I like to buy it pre-shredded, so I don't even have to worry about that stuff. I'm a more of dump everything in and go kind of person. All right, once your cheese is melted and everything is melted and mixed together, go ahead and push the cancel button. You don't want to keep sauteing or it will burn the bottom of your pan, it will burn the noodles. So we're turning it off, and so you'll just have nice hot mac and cheese ready to serve. Now, if you want to make this a little bit earlier in the day, you can always push the cancel button again. It is also the keep warm button, and you can just let it sit here for an hour or 2. I would put the lid back on and let it sit until you're ready to eat. All right. Oh man, these noodles smell so good. I can smell just the little bit of Dijon mustard in there. It's my favorite. Now, I was thinking that you could easily do, if you have the other box mac and cheese, you could easily make just the Kraft macaroni and cheese too, because it's literally the same thing. You're just cooking your noodles and adding everything else when you're done. So I'm not gonna touch the chicken, we're just gonna dump it in.
That's what I love about using frozen chicken. You don't have to touch it. Just dump
Throw
and
it
go.
in.
Yep.
So we have 4 chicken breasts in there, but you can have 3 if you want to, so.
Yep.
All right, next you wanna add garlic in for me?
Yep, so we've got like 2 cloves of garlic for about a teaspoon.
Nice.
If you're using that.
And then cumin, however you want to say it. We got 2 tablespoons of this, and I love this and chili powder together is like 2 of my most favorite things.
It's perfect for Mexican recipes, I think. Those are the best flavors together.
Ugh, if I can get
A
it.
little more.
Here we go, there we go. All right,
Okay.
so 2 of that, and then 2 of chili powder. You want to do it?
Yep.
Awesome. Oh, that was a little easier to pull out.
Yeah, this one isn't so packed in. Whoops, that one might have a little bit extra.
A little bit of spice.
It's gonna have a kick.
Okay, so next we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of brown rice.
Okay.
So we're gonna actually put it kind of in the bottom so it will be covered with the liquid.
All right. Could you use a different kind of rice if you want?
You could.
Okay.
It will cook a little bit longer because brown rice takes about 25 minutes to cook, and that's how long we're gonna be cooking this for.
Okay.
So it'll be good.
All right, well, I'm gonna dump in a can of black beans. They've already been rinsed and drained. So there's that, that's loud.
Nice, you wanna do the tomatoes too?
Yep,
And I'll
so
just-
this is just a can of diced tomatoes. Dump that right on top.
And then about 1.5 cups of chicken broth. And we're just gonna eyeball it, not quite half, but 1.5 cups. Close
Okay,
enough.
cool. All right, so lid can go on.
Lid is on.
All right.
Now, the thing about this recipe is that it's the burrito bowls, chicken burrito bowls, and so after this cooks, that's all the good stuff happens after it's done cooking.
Okay.
So, okay, are you ready?
Yep.
So this is a different kind of Instant Pot that we're using. We're gonna make sure this little knob is turned to sealing.
Yep.
Then go ahead and push the manual button or the pressure cook button, whatever your Instant Pot has. And then because it's frozen, we're gonna go up to 25 minutes. There we go. And after a few seconds, it will say on. That means you did it right, and you can just walk away. All right, when this is done, we'll come back.
Okay, so our chicken is done in the Instant Pot. We already vented it.
Yes.
We already let the spray fly. Though it really wasn't bad. It was just steamy. Okay.
All right, so now shred the chicken.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you
I'll
that
pull
job.
this out.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
So this chicken, you really could use it for so many different things, right?
Right,
Any
right.
Mexican tacos, burritos, nachos, like whatever you feel like.
Exactly.
But what are we doing with it
We're
today?
doing a little bit healthier today, so we're gonna put it on some lettuce or salad, whatever you want. I like it actually on spinach is my favorite, but we're gonna use like the romaine today, so.
Perfect.
Awesome. So once you shred the chicken, then you're gonna throw it back in there and get all the flavors and stuff on the
because
individual
this is
pieces.
really good
Yeah, and
juice.
there's
And the rice is in there.
rice and beans
Okay.
and all the good stuff.
I'll hurry and finish shredding this up.
All right, chicken's all shredded. Now it's for the good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna use the slotted spoon. Is that okay?
Oh yeah,
Just
for sure.
Get some beans, get some chicken and rice, all the good stuff.
Sometimes when we make this, I will make salads for my husband and I, but the kids will make like quesadillas with it.
Oh, that's a
or
good
like wrap it
idea.
in a tortilla because that's so much easier for them to eat.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so now we just add the good stuff on.
All your favorite
Yep.
toppings.
And
Okay.
you can add whatever you want.
So
But
sour cream.
let's see, first we'll add,
We're gonna make this look pretty.
yeah, maybe a little bit of tomatoes, a little bit of cheese.
Cheese. Yep, I can do
salsa.
cheese.
Okay. I'm gonna use your fork to get out some of the salsa.
Go for it.
Okay,
My husband likes to put jalapenos on it just for like an added kick.
I would love that.
So that's a good addition.
and I love like the guacamole stuff too.
Oh yeah,
on it.
guacamole, corn. I love corn on it. I don't know.
I love it. All right, guys. Super simple, easy, healthy. I mean, if you even take out the sour cream, it's still super healthy. So. Okay, so don't be intimidated by all the ingredients you see. This recipe actually comes together really quickly and it is delicious. So stick with me here. Okay, we're gonna start with our Instant Pot and we're gonna push the saute button. Good, so it's gonna take about a minute or two to heat up and get hot. So while it's heating, we're gonna throw in our stuff. So we're gonna put in 1 tablespoon of butter, and then 1 teaspoon of olive oil. You just eyeball that. All right, then we're just gonna wait for the butter to melt and for the oil to get hot. While we're waiting for this to get hot, I'm gonna just go ahead and chop up my chickens. I have 2 large chicken breasts. You can do anywhere from 1 to 2, but I like chicken in my chicken and dumplings, so we're gonna go with 2. Now I'm cutting these into bite-sized pieces just because you don't want a big chunk of chicken. It's better to have small pieces. So cut up all my chicken, we're good to go. And so our oil and butter are all ready to go too. Okay, so right now I chopped up an onion and then about 3 stalks of celery. So I'm just gonna take this and just put it right into the pot. Go. Okay, then you're just gonna stir that around a little bit. So you just want these cooked until the onion is fragrant and the celery is cooked just a little bit through. I love the smell of onion. Cooked onion is my favorite. Okay, so next we're gonna add a few more vegetables. Now it calls for 1 cup of carrots. And so you can have whole carrots and chop them up small, but I'm gonna cheat today and just use baby carrots and throw in about a cup or so. Okay. And then it also calls for 1 potato, but I love using the mini baby potatoes because you can just throw them in there like that, or you can cut them in half and it just makes it really quick and easy. So I don't know, I do about 10 potatoes or so and just throw them in. You just want them so they're bite-sized. So if they are too big, you want to cut them, but if they're pretty small, then you'd be fine just to throw in the whole potato. And if you don't want to use the baby ones, you can just use just a normal russet potato or a few red potatoes, just cut them up and throw them in. So once our potatoes are in, I'm just going to stir it around a little bit. Okay, so then I'm gonna add just a little bit of garlic. I like to use the canned garlic, but you can use whatever garlic you want. So I did about a ½ teaspoon or so of garlic. Mix that in too. And And then it's time to start cooking everything. So we're gonna put our chicken in right now. Just dump that in. Okay. And then we're gonna add 2 cups of chicken broth because you're gonna need liquid in order for your Instant Pot to pressurize. Just kind of eyeball it there. I like to use these containers because I know there's 4 cups in there, so I use about half of it or so. You don't have to be exact with this recipe. All right. That is looking good. Okay, so then we're gonna just add a little bit of seasoning. So just salt and pepper, just however much you want. I did about a half teaspoon of each. And then we have about a half teaspoon of poultry seasoning that you can put in there. And then about a half teaspoon of sage. If you want to put other spices in here, go ahead and do that because I love spices, but these together are some of my most favorite. All right. Mix it all around a little bit and we're ready to cook. So because it's on saute right now, we want to push the cancel button first. So we're going to push cancel and then put our lid on. Make sure that your little knob is turned to sealing, not venting. Then you're gonna push either the pressure cook button or the manual button. Now because our chicken is cut up, we don't have to cook it as long, so I'm gonna cook it for about 15 minutes. Okay, now while this is cooking and pressurizing, I'm gonna go ahead and take my biscuits and start cutting those up. So I already popped it so you wouldn't have to see my face as it exploded. So this is the jumbo biscuits. It comes with 8, but you only need about 6 of them. So I'm gonna take a biscuit and then pull it out carefully and just kind of flatten it out a little bit. Now you want to do it into strips. So I like to do it into 6 pieces. So I split it in 2 first and then just 2 more. They don't have to be even, it's fine because once they cook, they'll all look the same anyway. So you're gonna do this to 6 of your biscuits and then just set them to the side. They can sit there while the rest of your food will cook. So we've chopped up our chicken, we put in our vegetables, we put in our spices, then we just chopped up all the dumplings and you're gonna put in the dumplings in your pot right now. All right, so we're gonna add 2 more cups of chicken broth. So we're gonna have 4 cups total in there. So, and then we're just going to carefully place your biscuits on top. Now there's gonna be a lot of liquid in there. You just kind of wanna place them right on top of the liquid and spread them out because if they're all mushed together, it's not gonna cook very well. So you want individual biscuits and so you're just gonna spread them out the best you can. So once all your biscuits are in, carefully take out your spoon. So you're not gonna mix it or anything, you're gonna leave your biscuits right there floating on top. So before you put your lid on, make sure that you push the cancel button. Then you can put your lid on. Okay, lid goes on. Make sure this little knob is turned to sealing, not venting. Then you're gonna push the pressure cook or manual button and we're gonna go to 10 minutes. Your chicken is cut up so small that it will only take about 10 minutes to cook and your biscuits will cook in about 10 minutes too. So we're gonna let that cook and then we'll come back. All right, so it's all done cooking. You can see that the little L is starting to count up. That means that it's done. So you can either let it release on its own for a little while, or you can turn the knob to venting, and I'm gonna turn it to venting today. Okay, so once all the pressure's out, that little button will go down, and then you can take the lid off safely. All right, oh, you can see the biscuits, they look good. Now they look obviously a little soggy because they're sitting in liquid, but they are cooked all the way through. So we're just gonna mix them around just a little bit. You don't wanna mix too much because then you'll break up the biscuit. It'll make your chicken and dumplings thick, but you wanna keep your biscuits whole. So we're just mixing carefully. All right, once we've mixed, we're gonna add 1/2 cup of heavy cream. Just dump that right in so it makes it good. And then we're gonna add about 1 cup of peas. Now you could add other vegetables if you want, but I just like peas in my chicken and dumplings, so about 1 cup or so. There we go. Then you're just gonna carefully mix everything in. Now you can cook your food just like this, or you can make it go a little bit faster. Push the cancel button and push saute, and then you'll cook your vegetables just a little bit faster, or your peas a little bit faster. It will just make everything heat up quicker. Looks good. So we're just gonna let this sit for a minute or two, let it saute, and just keep stirring so it will cook nice and even. All right, so when it's all done, I like to serve it in a bowl because it's almost like a soup, but you know, it's chicken and dumplings. It's so good. All right, you can see that. Oh, it smells so good. So this recipe is super simple and super basic, and it tastes amazing. My husband couldn't believe how good it actually tasted. So let's get into it. So usually you take your corned beef, you have about 2 to 4 pounds. I usually like to do 2 pounds because that feeds my family 6 easily. So, but this one is 4 pounds, which is fine. We're just gonna cook it all in the Instant Pot. So, I'm gonna put it in, and because it is so big, we're just gonna stick it right on top of each other. There we go. Now, you can get corned beef at like Kroger. We got this one at Smith's or Kroger. I've also found it at Costco and sometimes at Walmart around St. Patrick's Day. All right, so once corned beef's in, now we're gonna put in about a cup of carrots. You can use chopped carrots, or you can just use the baby carrots if you'd like. Next, we're gonna do an onion. So I just cut it into 4 chunks, just making it easy. It's more for like seasoning than anything else. Then we have about a 1/4 cup of parsley that I chopped up. We'll just put that right on top. Now, usually corned beef comes with some seasoning, and it's my favorite. So I always put in the little package of seasoning that comes with it and just sprinkle it over everything. Then on top, we're gonna just do 2 bay leaves. Now, if you put these in, remember to take them out when your food is done cooking. Okay, now we're just gonna add about 3 cups of liquid at the bottom of the pot. And that's really how easy it is. So we're gonna put the lid on. Gonna put the lid on. Make sure this little knob is on sealing, not venting. So then you're gonna push the pressure cook button, or if you have a different Instant Pot, it could be manual also. Then we're gonna go up to about 90 minutes. Now I know that seems like a lot, but this meat is pretty tough, so you wanna make sure it gets really tender. So we're gonna cook it for 90 minutes. All right, so once that is set and the timer is set, you can just walk away and we'll come back in about 1.5 hours. All right, so once it's all done cooking, we're gonna turn the little knob to venting to let all of the steam and pressure out. Once the pressure's out, you can open up your lid. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. So right now we're gonna add a cabbage. So I got a whole cabbage and literally just chopped it into 4 chunks. So we're just gonna put this in here, and then we're gonna close it up and cook it for a few more minutes. Now, if you don't like cabbage, you don't have to do this part. It will still taste amazing, but the cabbage is just a fun thing to add, and those that love it, it tastes good. All right, so you're gonna put your lid back on. Make sure your little knob is turned to sealing. And then you're gonna push the pressure cooker manual button again. We're gonna go down to just 3 minutes. We just need to get that cabbage nice and cooked, and it just only needs about 3 minutes to cook. Once the timer's done, you're gonna turn the knob again to venting, let all the steam out, and you can open up your lid. And your cabbage should be cooked just perfectly so it's nice and tender, but the thing that I want the most is the corned beef. So we're just gonna carefully pull that out. Oh, it's just falling apart. All right, 1, 2, 3. Nice, now if you could see this, we left a little bit of the fat on. You can take that off before you cook it, but I was just trying to go as quick and easy as I could, so I left my fat on, and I'll just cut it off as I'm doing it. All right, I just wanna show you just how juicy and tender this is. We're just gonna cut it up. It just is falling apart. Oh my goodness. All right, so if you've never had corned beef, I highly suggest giving it a try. So the first recipe that we're making today is our buffalo chicken wings. Now we've been getting a lot of requests for either drumsticks or chicken wings. So we're just gonna show you how easy they are to make inside your Instant Pot. So,
Yes.
all right, you wanna go first?
Yes, okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is sprinkle them with all seasoned salt. You could also use salt and pepper if you don't have all seasoned salt, but this gives it just a little more variety and a little more flavor. Okay, so once you season one side, flip them, and then you'll season the other.
And you can do the same thing with the drumsticks, and you'll actually cook them for the same amount of time too. So,
And these are great for games, appetizers,
right,
coming
right.
up.
Super Bowl is coming.
My husband loves these, so. And they're super quick and easy, and you don't have to slave away because the Instant Pot does all the work. So.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think I've got everything
Perfect.
pretty seasoned.
Now we're gonna cook them inside of the Instant Pot, but we're gonna use like a steamer basket to help us out a little bit. Now, if you don't have a steamer basket, you can use like the little trivet that came with your Instant Pot, but I like steamer baskets easier because they just have a little handle.
Yes.
So, all right, you wanna pass the water?
Yep.
So we're gonna
Want me to just
pour,
pour it right in?
yeah. So we have like a cup of water. And we're just dumping in because we need liquid, so it will pressurize. And then we'll put the basket right in. And then do you just wanna put the chicken in?
Yes.
Okay.
This is super easy.
Now, I've lived out of state for a lot of years, and this is my first year being home for the Super Bowl.
We are so glad.
As sisters, we let the boys watch the football game.
Yes.
And we just sit around all the food and
just eat and talk.
the whole entire game.
And then at halftime, we go in and we join them.
we watch the commercials. And
We're more
sometimes
there
a
for the
halftime show.
halftime show.
We are.
And the food.
But mostly the food.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna put the lid on. Now, I get a lot of questions. If you're new to the Instant Pot, if you can hear that little jingle as it goes on, that means you did it right. So you just wanna make sure your lid is on all the way. Then after you put your lid on, you want to turn your knob right then so you won't forget. You're gonna turn it to sealing. There are different kinds of Instant Pots. This one has a pressure cook button. There's also one with a manual button. So we're gonna push pressure cook, and then it only cooks for about 10 minutes. So you push the little plus button to go up. So.
Yes.
And then we'll wait for that to cook. So once your timer's done, we're gonna let it release on its own until about 10 minutes or until the pressure is out. All right, once that little button goes down, you can go ahead and open up your pot.
Ooh, they look good and they smell good.
Yes, they do. All right, do you just wanna pull them out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we washed the pan, we're gonna put them back in, and then we're just gonna add some buffalo sauce, but you could also do barbecue sauce, teriyaki sauce.
Right, whatever you like on your wings.
Yes.
But we like hot sauce.
Yes. And I'm also all about the sauce. My husband likes the rubs, but I'm like, give me some of that sauce.
Good.
Okay.
My kids like the barbecue though because they don't like
Yes.
it being too hot.
Too
but
hot.
I'm a fan of all sauces.
Okay, I'm just gonna flip them over, and then we'll sauce the other side.
All right, just a little sauce on that guy.
Yes.
Nice.
And we're good.
Good. All right.
Okay.
Should we stick them in the oven?
Yep, and we're gonna broil them for about 2 minutes.
2 minutes or so. Okay.
So they're all done cooking, and then we're just gonna plate them on, and then we also have a little bit of ranch that you can dip them in as well.
Now, if you want more sauce, you can actually take this sauce and like spread it on a little bit,
yeah.
or you can just keep it just like this.
Mix it around.
So I actually have a video of teriyaki chicken that I've made before, but I put in my broccoli at the same time as everything else, and it kind of disappeared. And so I'm gonna show you how to make it quick and simple with putting in the broccoli in later. And then also we're using jasmine rice instead of brown rice, so you don't have to cook it nearly as long. So, okay, let's get cooking. So let's add our rice first. We have like 2 cups of jasmine rice. You can use white rice too. There we go. But I love jasmine rice.
You know, it is good. Okay.
All right.
Rice.
Now with rice, when you cook it, you want so for every cup of rice, you have 1 1/4 cup of liquid. So that way it won't stick to the bottom of your pot and you won't get that lovely burn notice. So if you get the burn notice a lot, go ahead and add just a little bit more chicken broth than what I told you to do. So right now we're adding 2.5 cups. We're gonna add just a little bit, just so we don't get the burn.
Okay.
Okay.
And then our carrots, how much of these do we add?
So we added like a cup of carrots. Sometimes I'll even just grab those little bags at the grocery store that are just the little carrots and just shove them in because
Yeah.
that's a little less effort. And then
Last thing.
we have about 2 cups of chicken. So the chicken is already cooked, ready to go.
Yes.
So we don't have to cook it for nearly as long. So it will make it go by a lot faster if you have pre-cooked chicken. We love using like rotisserie chickens.
We do.
So it's all cooked, ready. All right, we're gonna put the lid on. And as soon as you put the lid on, you wanna make sure that this little knob is turned to sealing, not venting. Now because we're cooking the rice, we're gonna cook it for 7 minutes. So we're gonna push the pressure cook button or manual button, and then just go down to 7 minutes. Now as soon as you set the timer, you can go ahead and walk away. All right, we'll come back when this is done cooking. All right, so the chicken and rice, it's all done cooking. So we turned this little knob to venting, let all the steam out as soon as the timer was done. So now we're gonna take the lid off.
And stir it all together.
Stir it all around. That looks so good.
There's no burning.
Yes, we didn't get the burn. So if you always get the burn, make sure to add a little bit more chicken broth so you don't have issues.
Okay, and the carrots are soft too. So
Good.
perfect.
Now, my secret tip to this. So while this was cooking, we went and steamed our broccoli on the side so it wouldn't like disintegrate pretty much in here. So we have just about a cup of broccoli all steamed, ready to go. I also like to get those ones, you can find them at like Walmart, and they come in a baggie and you stick it in your microwave and steam it.
The steamable freezer
baggies.
section.
Yes. Now you can add a little bit of salt and pepper if you want, but I think the teriyaki sauce kind of has enough salt in it that we're just not gonna add any in right now. So, all right.
Bowl it up.
All right, time to put it in.
Do you want to bring it closer?
Yes,
so
I will.
Spill it anywhere. I don't know how good my aim is.
Now I also just don't dump in the whole bottle of teriyaki because some people like a lot, some people like a little. My kids don't like a ton, so we kind of just let them kind of pick and choose how much teriyaki sauce they want.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite teriyaki sauces. I like the little sesame seeds on top. You can get it without, but I love this sauce because of the seeds. Saves you an ingredient to buy. So I'll just add our teriyaki sauce on top. You can top this off with green onions or just leave it as is. And
today I'm making Instant Pot pot roast. So I'm starting with a 2-pound pot roast. The good thing about the Instant Pot is that you can use a cheaper cut of meat and it will still taste delicious. I always like to cook the meat on the very bottom of my Instant Pot because that's where it's hottest and that's where it will cook the fastest. Next, you're going to add just a half of a packet of the Lipton onion soup mix and just pour that right on top of your meat. Now I've pre-sliced some onions. I like them so they're a little bit bigger chunks. You can chop them up too if you want to, but adding the onion to the pot roast is one of my favorites. Next, I'm going to add my carrots. Now I have gotten bigger carrots here. I peeled them and then I chopped them into bigger chunks. Just because you'll be cooking for a long time, you kind of want big chunks of carrots. Next, I'm just going to throw in some potatoes. I had some leftover red ones, and then I also am going to fill it with just some small ones. Now you can use whatever kind of potatoes you like. Just know they will be cooked all the way through. Then you're going to add the other half of your Lipton onion soup mix on top of your potatoes. Then lastly, you're going to add 2 cups of beef broth right on top of everything. Then go ahead and put your lid on, make sure that it's sealed all the way, and you're going to turn that little knob to sealing, not venting, because sealing means you want to cook it. Now we are going to push the meat stew button, and we're going to go all the way up to 60 minutes. Now I let the pot roast release on its own, so I didn't push venting until I was ready to open it, just to make sure. But look how good this looks. Then I just took my meat out and I shredded it, put my potatoes and carrots on the sides. It's the perfect meal for like a Sunday dinner.
All right guys, so if you love these recipes, you can find more Instant Pot dinner recipes just right up there. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.